What's up, y'all? Today has been a day. The day was intended to be get work done on the truck, which is still continuing. I'm about to go and get an air filter for the truck because why pay $50 to the Ram dealership when I know how to change an air filter? Man, look at this hair. All right, I'll start up the truck and go over to O'Reilly Auto Parts, which is by Ace, which is the area I just love.
Approval of drinking, and
yeah, today is not working out as planned. Remember I said hopefully yesterday was our last medical appointments. If you watched yesterday's episode, that was our last planned medical appointments. However, Keira, when she went to bed last night, was having some pain in her abdomen. She woke up this morning, it was worse. And then I went to the Ram dealership to get work on the truck, and she was crying out in a lot of pain. So we went to an urgent care to have her taken a look at. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Right now, I'm headed to O'Reilly. Now that made me laugh. This filter cost $50. All right, let's revisit where the day started. I got up this morning, I packed up my work laptop, took it all. I figured I was gonna have to spend all day at a dealership. Got to the dealership. First thing I learned was the maintenance plan that I bought when I bought the Ram is almost useless. Don't buy those maintenance plans, it's a joke. Ethos, I think, was the name of the company. Kind of a weird noise of an airplane flying over. Anyway, so I was told when I purchased the maintenance plan, it'll cover my oil changes, it'll cover my fuel filter changes, and that part was a lie. There's no fuel filter coverage at all. So I spent several $1,000s on a maintenance plan, and it covers 6 oil changes and 6 tire rotations. $80 an oil change times 6 is $480. The tire rotations probably $50 a time. Yeah, I got ripped off bad. So I guess you just paint a big loser over my face, or I don't know, get a little too harsh. At any rate, we got that done. They came to me, they showed me a picture of the air filter, and it was actually loaded. It was pretty dirty. There was leaves and all kinds of gunk all over the air filter. And then the brake fluid looked dark, and it did look dark. And he was like, $50 for the air filter, $150 for flushing out the brake fluid and refilling the brake fluid. I agreed to the brake fluid part. I'm not prepared or ready to flush out a brake fluid system right now, but I know I can do an air filter. But they wanted $50, and I'm like, I can take care of that myself. Probably be $20 for an air filter, maybe 15, maybe 5, I don't know. So here I am at O'Reilly, and I just paid $50 for an air filter. I guess it's good to know that kind of stuff before you go in. So I'm going to put this air filter in right now and make sure it fits before I drive away from here. And I want to make sure the air filter fits properly at $50 before I drive away. Because if I can take it back in and get my money back, it was the only one that they had. Cheaper one, if they had it, probably would have been about $45. But how much diesel would I spend to go drive to AutoZone 12 miles away? Probably more than $5. So let's put this air filter in. $10mm socket, if you were wondering. Yeah, I think I'll put the camera down and make sure that none of these bolts disappear. Now the bolts might actually be secured in there so they don't come out. Cool. Uh-oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, it worked. It's a little tough getting this past the big intake right there. Well, they had them torqued down pretty good. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ha ha ha! Why you no come out? 6. That's why you no come out. Oh. They always got to cram things just right. I don't know if you can see, but there's plastic from the top of the hood right here. It comes up and hits that. Well, now at 50 bucks, I could have just had the dealership do it with a lot less headache. But I do like to know how to do stuff. There we go. Yeah, that is a thick air filter. That's why it costs so much money. Yeah, it needs to go. I wasn't disagreeing with the guy when I said don't change it. I was just saying let me do it. Because yeah, it's pretty dirty. Let's go get the new one. That is a thick air filter. So leave that on top. So I'm doing this one-handed because I insist on using a camera. Take this one out. Hey, look at all the cottonwood seeds. Wish I could say I'm surprised. I am not. I'm the least bit surprised. It's been a heavy cottonwood season. All right, looks like I gotta set you guys down again. Right, throw this up. Kind of wishing I had my vacuum cleaner hose now. Clean out some of this extra gunk. So I'm assuming it's just gonna suck up all these. Ooh, look at all those bees. Okay, nice and snug. So this is what I was talking about right here. They couldn't have just slightly, oh, there's a metal frame underneath of it. So you gotta go past that. And then come back over. I should not be able to see any of that orange in there. It's a matter of just getting it lined up. Looks like one of the hard parts here is keeping these screws on the inner side from popping down as I come across. Looked like they were kind of preventing it from coming across and fitting down where it needed to be. I'd have to finish off tightening it down by hand. So use my impact driver to get it down there a bit. And then come back and hand tighten it with the Phillips head screwdriver. Okay. Phillips head. Phillips head? What am I saying? Sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a flathead screwdriver. Is tuned for a specific amount of compression and all. I know that's a lot of detailed stuff. If you're not into fixing your own vehicles and your RVs and stuff, this might be a little boring for you today, and I'm sorry. I grew up in a household where we work on our own cars and our own trucks. Grandpa Bob raised me to do my own oil changes if I can. work on my own brakes. Boy, this one is a booger. So Grandpa Bob was also a pilot and a certified pilot mechanic. I used to go out to the airport with Grandpa Bob. He would be doing inspections. He would pay me $6.50 an hour to go in front of him and take panels off with a screwdriver. Then he would come by and do his official inspection, and then I would go back and put the panels back on and screw them in place. Okay, air filter is changed. So if you're sitting here wondering, what does this have to do with RV life? Truth of the matter is if you're gonna try to travel the country, you're gonna need to have maintenance done to your RV and your truck. If you've got a motorhome, obviously you've got a motor there. If you've got a motorhome, you've actually probably got two motors you need to worry about. One in the RV and one in your probably towed vehicle that you pull behind the motorhome. It's one of the reasons I kind of like the fifth wheel life, is because I just have one motor to worry about. Well, with the exception of the generators. So you need to make sure that you've got a budget set aside for things to be maintained. Obviously, if you can get stuff taken care of ahead of time, it's always going to be better than if it breaks down on the road. Diesel can be very expensive. The maintenance can be expensive, and the repairs. I've heard of people paying $12,000 to get things fixed on a diesel engine. It is pretty crazy. Yes, a gas engine will be cheaper to maintain. Gas engines have their drawbacks. So you just kind of have to weigh that and measure as you're making your plans for what you're going to do. When I was getting my sockets out, I realized that the bottom of my red toolbox was full of water. So I dumped it out, and I just took along what I knew I would probably need to go accomplish the mission. Since we're going to be throwing this filter away, see if I can't get it back in the box. So this connection you see between the impact driver, or drill if you're unfamiliar with an impact driver, and my 10mm socket is something that I bought when I needed to do the manual stabilizers on our first RV. It allows for that type of a socket to go into a drill. Makes life easier, faster. You could technically probably take your lug nuts off your tires with this, and I'm going to find that out when I go to repack my bearings on the trailer. Nice Mustang. Making sure I didn't leave anything up here. Oh, what about the brake fluid? So there's our brake master cylinder. I've got the fluid topped off. Oh yeah, that is considerably lighter from the photo that he had shown me at the Ram dealership. I have trust issues. I've had dealerships where I've paid for work and then found out later they did nothing. It happens. You gotta double check that kind of stuff. Hey, if you've never had a diesel engine before, did you know it has two batteries? One here and one over there. These things are a behemoth. I was also thinking I could really stand to get the truck washed. And then after I got home to pick up Keira, I'm like, look at that. I can see myself. Yeah, they cleaned it. May not be perfect, but I really don't need perfect. It's nice to see a clean truck.
Kind of a relationship, or a nicer car, or our kids in a different school, or a different label in our club.
So let's talk about Keira for a minute. So Keira said that she's been having some abdominal pain for about a week. Last night after we went swimming, she said she felt worse. This morning she felt really bad. While I was at the Ram dealership, she was crying nonstop, said she couldn't take it anymore, felt like she was going to explode. Obviously nobody wants to hear their kids talking like this. Started asking all the questions. We took her, we found with our insurance an urgent care, because usually if you can't go to the primary care physician, health insurance typically likes you to go to urgent care. So we went to urgent care. It was the Texas Med Clinic in New Braunfels. They have a couple, but it was the one that was closest and fastest for us to get to. The doctor comes in and he's like doing the little things, you know, you expect it. If you've ever been to the doctor with any kind of a tummy ache, they just kind of push in different areas of the tummy. So then he says to me, he says, I think you should go to the ER. Why do I need to go to the ER? I have a bad history with ERs. They infuriate me, actually. And then on top of that, once you go to the ER, your insurance company is just right away is like, we hate you, and you're going to pay out the nose for anything and everything. He's like, look, I could order your labs now, and it could take 7 to 8 hours to get 7 to 8 hours to get it back, which is end of day, which means you're not going to find out anything until tomorrow. Or you can take her right now to the ER, and they've got everything on hand, and they can get you all your answers right away. If you've been to the ER, you know that nothing happens right away. You typically sit in rooms for hours. Okay. Am I right? If you've had an experience in an emergency room where you didn't sit there for hours, like you went in, they checked you out, and they got you out, please tell us what the hospital is, because I bet you more of us would like to go to that hospital. Our experience is they get you in, they put you in a room because they're under pressure to get you out of the waiting room. That's a big deal right now. People are tracking how long you're in the waiting room. But once they get you in a room, that doesn't mean that they have to come see you. And it could be 7 to 8 hours. It could be 2 in the morning before you're leaving there, putting you in a position to be tired, hungry, dehydrated, exposed to more viruses. I can go on and on and on about why an emergency room frustrates me, and why an emergency room, obviously there's times you need it. You get in a really bad car accident and you've broken half of the bones in your body, and you need some serious care. Go to the emergency room. But my daughter, she is in pain and she's uncomfortable, but I don't believe it's to the point where she's about to die. If I felt she was about to die, we wouldn't have even gone to the urgent care. We would have been right at the ER. They've sent off the lab work. We'll find out more. They're gonna check to make sure that everything else is okay, see if there is anything else wrong, and I completely agree with that. My indifference comes from the fact that if I go to the ER and get the service that he thinks I'm gonna get, it's still gonna take just as long and put us in more financial harm, and put us, I mean, our comfort levels are terrible. At least now Keira is back at home, relaxing and reclining on the couch, watching some Pokemon. She's not comfortable, she's not happy, but she is better. We don't need to go spend $2,000-$3,000 at an emergency room and stay up all night. And once again, you're like, what does this have to do with the RV life? Well, if you're a family, I mean, even if you're not a family, it's just you. When you're pressed with those situations where you need to choose about going to the doctor, you need to remember what they're all capable of doing. What is a doctor capable of doing? What is an emergency room capable of doing? And what is your insurance company capable of doing to you based on where you go? So this guy at this urgent care very much struck me like a Taco Bell employee. The way that he was talking felt more like, you're inconveniencing me, just go to the emergency room. And I'm like, you don't understand our family medical history and or the diet. And I tried to talk with him about what she's been eating, and he didn't want to hear it. He couldn't be bothered to discuss this stuff. That makes me upset. Why are doctors not willing to talk about this stuff? Doctors these days are trained to walk in the room, move your leg around, touch your abdomen in a few places, make a snap judgment, and if it's not financially viable for them to keep you there and make the money, and kick you out and send you to the next place that'll just make more money off of you. That's 2 days in a row I've been on a rant. Rant over. Maintenance is done on the truck. Next thing I gotta worry about is I need to repack the bearings on the trailer. I might be a little bit tough though. The plans have been, like at first I struggled with, where am I gonna do this? And we have cement at this RV park we're at right now. So that makes it a little bit easier for me to work on it rather than sitting on a bunch of gravel, which is not fun. Tanya would typically go outside and work on art, and the girls would go outside and play with their friends, so I could bring the slides in and work on the trailer. But if Keira is inside and in a lot of pain, it might be a little tougher. Maybe I can let her go up and lay in my bed and watch TV while I work on the trailer. Anyway, we'll find out. I think I am going to, I think I'm going to end this. I think we'll call it a day. I'm going to go home and tend to my family. See whatever I can do to help comfort Keira. Make her feel better. She's going through a tough time right now. Yeah. And to all y'all out there, love your kids. Cherish them. Hug them. Kiss them. Tell them you love them. Spend time with them. Learn about Pokemon. Or whatever it is that they want to talk about. Your kids love you and they look up to you and they want to spend time with you. Don't just set them in front of a TV and walk away so you can go do your football game or go hang out with your buddies and drink beers. Go spend time with your kids. This vlog is over. Life happens. Don't let it stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.